Franchise quarterbacks are more important than you think, but when they're gone, it could be absolutely devastating. NFL franchises like the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys have consistently enjoyed terrific quarterback play for over 50 years and counting. Unfortunately for many teams, that type of consistency at football's most important position can be tough to maintain. We have seen many teams lose their star quarterback and repeatedly fail to replace him for years, even decades, no matter how hard they try. But as some franchises have shown us, it's not impossible to escape from this so-called QB-purgatory after losing a star signal caller. Here's a look at 5 NFL teams who are still stuck in QB purgatory after losing a star passer, and 5 teams who recently dug themselves out of such unpleasant situations. Still in purgatory, Washington Commanders. Washington won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different starting quarterbacks in Joe Theismann and Mark Rypien under Joe Gibbs' leadership. Ever since Rypien left DC for the Cleveland Browns in '94, it hasn't been pretty. Heath Schuler, the number 3 pick in the 1994 draft, never reached his potential. Brad Johnson, Gus Frerotte, Mark Brunell, and Jason Campbell all had limited success in DC. Donovan McNabb was a flop there. Robert Griffin III had an epic rookie season in 2012, but injuries derailed a promising career. Kirk Cousins was a quality starter for 3 years until Washington curiously let him walk in 2018 free agency. Alex Smith was a decent short-term option, but his tragic injury history forced Washington to use backups like Colt McCoy, Taylor Heineke, Josh Johnson, Kyle Allen, and RIP Dwayne Haskins after that. Washington ultimately decided to take a chance on Carson Wentz, acquiring him in a trade with the Indianapolis Colts. Only time will tell if he's the solution to their almost 3-decade-long search for a franchise QB. Got out. Buffalo Bills. 5-time Pro Bowler Jim Kelly, who led the Bills to 4 straight Super Bowl appearances in the early 90s, retired after the 1996 season. Little did Buffalo fans know at the time that they wouldn't land a suitable QB option for more than 2 decades. The trade for former New England Patriots starter Drew Bledsoe didn't amount to much. J.P. Lossman and E.J. Manuel were draft busts. Journeyman Ryan Fitzpatrick, Kyle Orton, and Tyrod Taylor had decent moments, but were never really long-term options. But finally, after so much pain and misery, Buffalo got a break at the QB-heavy 2018 draft. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were the first QBs off the board, allowing the Bills to trade up into the number 7 spot and grab Wyoming product Josh Allen. The dual-threat star had a rough rookie season and up-and-down sophomore year, though he took Buffalo to the playoffs in the latter. Then in 2020, Allen reached superstar status with 4,544 passing yards and 37 touchdowns against only 10 picks. Allen led Buffalo to their first division title and their first playoff win since 1995, and then to their first AFC Championship game since '93. He followed 2020 up with another MVP-caliber year in 2021, leading Buffalo to a second straight division title. See, Bills fans, good things come to those who wait. Still in purgatory, Indianapolis Colts. On the one hand, the Colts were fortunate to go from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. But since Luck's shocking retirement in 2019, the Colts have been continuously searching for a long-term option at quarterback. Because Luck only retired weeks before the start of the 2019 season, the Colts had no choice but to move forward with Jacoby Brissett as their starter that year. In 2020 free agency, they brought in longtime Los Angeles Chargers QB Philip Rivers on a 1-year deal. Rivers played mostly fine and led Indianapolis to 11 wins and a wild-card berth. But the 8-time Pro Bowler decided to retire after the season. Once again, Indy was left scrambling for a signal caller. Disgruntled Philadelphia Eagles QB Carson Wentz was looking for a trade after a disastrous 2021 season. It just so happened that his career year in 2017 came under then offensive coordinator Frank Reich, who was now the Colts head coach. So Indianapolis made a big move and landed Wentz in a trade with Philadelphia. His stat line wasn't bad by any means, but the Colts lost a must-win game to the last-place Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 18. Owner Jim Irsay was so disgusted with Wentz's performance in the loss that he essentially made GM Chris Ballard and head coach Frank Reich get rid of him. So he was traded to the Commanders, and soon after, the Colts acquired longtime Atlanta Falcons starter Matt Ryan for a 3rd-round draft pick. Matty Ice becomes the Colts' 6th different starting QB in 6 seasons. Will he finally get them out of QB purgatory? We'll see. But based on his age and recent form, our guess is the Colts' search for a true franchise quarterback continues beyond 2022. Got out. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Getting out of QB purgatory is easy when you can just sign the GOAT when he becomes available in free agency. The Buccaneers didn't want anything more to do with the 2015 first overall pick Jameis Winston, who put up some big-time numbers but struggled mightily with turnovers. Until the exhausting search for a new franchise QB, their first since 2002 Super Bowl champion Brad Johnson continued into 2020. Tampa Bay had struck out time and time again when bringing in high-profile QBs in the past. Jeff Garcia only had one good year there. Byron Leftwich and Josh McCown flopped. 2009 first-rounder Josh Freeman had one good season in 2010, but that was it. Finally, Tampa caught the franchise-changing break in 2020 free agency. Tom Brady, who had grown tired of New England, wanted to finish his career elsewhere. The Patriots icon signed a 2-year deal in free agency, and all he did was lead the Bucs to a Super Bowl 55 championship with his first year with the franchise. Brady led Tampa to its first NFC South Division title in 14 years in 2021, and seemingly sent Tampa back to QB purgatory. But then he reversed course and decided to come back for a 23rd season. So the Bucs stay out of QB purgatory for now. Still in purgatory, Carolina Panthers. Boy, did the Panthers miss prime Cam Newton, who was last seen in 2017. Newton's disappointing 2018 season was largely hampered by an irritating shoulder injury. A Lisfranc fracture kept him out for all but 2 games in 2019, which kickstarted Carolina's whole QB purgatory thing. Carolina used career backup Kyle Allen and rookie Will Grier as their starters in 2019. In 2020, they signed journeyman Teddy Bridgewater to serve as the starter, but after 1 season, he was sent to the Denver Broncos in a cap-saving move. In 2021, the Panthers pushed for a Matthew Stafford trade, but the Detroit Lions ultimately sent him to the Los Angeles Rams. As a fallback option, they settled on former New York Jets starter Sam Darnold. Darnold, too, was a flop in Carolina, which prompted the Panthers to re-sign Newton in the middle of the season. That didn't amount to much, so Carolina found themselves scrambling for a QB yet again. They struck out in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes and watched other notable starters like Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Mitch Trubisky, Carson Wentz, and Matt Ryan find homes elsewhere. Could the 2022 draft be the answer for Matt Rule and company? We'll find out soon enough. Got out. Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars' last very good quarterback was Mark Brunell, who last played for the franchise in 2003. Yes, Byron Leftwich and David Garrard had some nice moments, and both led Jacksonville to a playoff berth. But neither guy was relatively close to being a franchise quarterback. The Jaguars gave up on Garrard and took Missouri QB Blaine Gabbert with a number 10 selection in 2011. Gabbert never put it together in Duval, however, and former Miami Dolphins starter Chad Henne took over as the starter in 2013. In 2014, Jacksonville used the number 3 pick on UCF product Blake Bortles. He had a very good statistical season in 2015 and led the Jaguars to an unexpected AFC Championship appearance in 2017. Then Bortles inexplicably unraveled in 2018, losing his starting job to Cody Kessler, which led to his release in the offseason. Jacksonville signed Super Bowl 52 MVP Nick Foles to be their QB in 2019. But he got injured and lost his starting job to rookie Gardner Minshew, with Minshew, Mike Glennon, and Jake Luton as the starters in 2020. The Jags won just 1 game and earned the top pick in the draft, which they used on Clemson's star Trevor Lawrence. Yes, T-Law had a forgettable rookie year, but we'll blame that on Urban Meyer. Lawrence is a generational talent who will finally help Jacksonville escape quarterback purgatory after an almost 2-decade-long stretch. Still in purgatory, New York Jets. There have been several flash-in-the-pan QBs in Gotham over the past half-century, but make no mistake about it, the great Joe Namath is the last true franchise quarterback the Jets had, and his final season with the franchise was way back when in 1976. Mind you, Ken O'Brien was a 2-time Pro Bowler over his 9 seasons with the Jets, but he struggled with the accuracy and turnovers, so it's hard to deem him as a true star QB. Then again, the Jets would surely take him over any other QB they've had since his departure. Boomer Esiason was the shell of his former self when he was traded to the Jets in '93. The Neil O'Donnell signing was a bust. Journeyman Vinny Testaverde had 1 good year in '98, but that's it. Chad Pennington helped New York to 3 playoff appearances. Too bad they ditched him for Brett Favre, which led Pennington to have a successful 2008 season with the Dolphins. Mark Sanchez got the Jets to the 2009 and 2010 AFC Championship games, and then his career in New York unraveled. Geno Smith, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Josh McCown, Bryce Petty, and Sam Darnold all came and went in the Big Apple, adding their names to the Jets' growing quarterback graveyard. New York opted to take BYU quarterback Zach Wilson with the number 2 selection in 2021. Now we sit back and and wait to see if Wilson extends or ends the QB purgatory in Gotham. Got out. Cleveland Browns. Bernie Kosar, who led the Browns to 3 AFC Championship game appearances in the 1980s, was the last superstar-level QB this sad franchise would have for the next 30-plus years. Vinny Testaverde was the primary starter in 94 and 95 before the Browns relocated to Baltimore and suspended operations from 96 to 98. When they returned to the league in 99, Cleveland had a new QB and first overall pick Tim Couch. Unfortunately, Couch was just the first of several big-time draft busts in Cleveland. Brady Quinn, Brandon Weeden, and Johnny Manziel all flopped. Baker Mayfield lacked consistency. Derek Anderson, Colt McCoy, and Jason Campbell had some nice moments but never became full-time starters. Brian Hoyer and Josh McCown weren't the answers either. But the Browns finally escaped purgatory when they made a blockbuster controversial trade for Houston Texans QB Deshaun Watson. In the 2022 offseason, the Browns traded a giant package headlined by 3 first-round picks to the Texans for Watson. To seal the deal, they handed Watson a 5-year fully guaranteed contract worth $230 million. There's no denying that Watson is a better QB than anybody who Browns fielded from 99 to 2021. He comes with some bad PR, no doubt, and frankly this is all kind of unethical, but it appears as though the Browns are willing to deal with it in order to get themselves out of QB purgatory once and for all. Still in purgatory, Miami Dolphins. We still don't know if Tua Tagovailoa is the guy, and the Dolphins' pursuit of Deshaun Watson is evidence that Miami has been unsure of the number 5 pick from 2020. Hall of Famer Dan Marino retired after the 99 season, kickstarting the Dolphins' tiring search for a franchise QB. Jay Fiedler was decent but not great in his 5 years as a starter. Dante Culpepper was a bust. Chad Pennington was great in 2008. And that's it. Chad Henne and Matt Moore didn't cut it. Ryan Tannehill was injury-prone and inconsistent, but still better than just about anybody Miami used from 2000 to 2011. Fitzpatrick was a fun 2-year bridge option in 2019 and 2020, before making way for Tua time. And now we wait to see if Tagovailoa will actually be the new franchise QB in Miami, or if this purgatory thing in South Beach is to continue. Got out. Denver Broncos. Finally, oh finally. Peyton Manning's retirement following the Broncos Super Bowl 50 championship left Denver scratching and clawing for a QB for 6 years. Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, Case Keenum, Brandon Allen, Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater. All of them gave it a shot, but none of them cut it. Then in his 2nd year as the Broncos GM, George Patton swung for the fences and acquired future Hall of Famer Russell Wilson in a blockbuster deal with the Seahawks. Wilson had grown frustrated with the lack of insight on personnel decisions, as well as the offensive playbook in Seattle. The Hawks were more than happy to deal him away to kickstart a rebuild, and the Broncos landed themselves a 9-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl winning QB because of it. Wilson did a lot of great things on flawed Seattle teams in his final years there. No doubt he'll be a solution to the Broncos' 6-year struggle in quarterback purgatory. Are there any other NFL teams who are currently in quarterback purgatory? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, we're on everything. Go subscribe, go follow. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes one click down below and subscribe to TPS. We post videos every day. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.